Please subscribe to my channel. I'm confident you'll discover a comfortable spot somewhere. My sister-in-law remarked smugly, intending to relocate with my in-laws following the wedding. I can't stop her, my husband shrugged. How adorable. I grinned and stepped away. But when the bank's letters showed up, she went rigid. Mom, what's happening? My name is Riley. I'm 29, wedded to Gabriel, and up until lately we resided with his folks in their two-story house right beyond Seattle. It wasn't perfect, but we managed. His father had trouble getting around, and his mother had started forgetting stuff. Minor things initially, but sufficient to require everyday assistance. I handle my job remotely as a financial advisor from home, and Gabriel managed the household and his parents around the clock. His parents held me in regard. Gabriel adored me. It ought to have sufficed. But then there was Claire, his elder sibling. Claire was 36, unattached, and carried the biggest grudge imaginable. Whenever she visited, she behaved as if I were an unwelcome intruder occupying her old family residence. She'd offer that forced smile and comment things like, "Oh, I really don't care for outsiders in this place," while entering the kitchen I'd tidied that very morning. She despised that I was younger, despised that I was wed, despised that I operated from home, and particularly despised that I didn't cower before her sense of superiority. She never confronted outright. That wasn't Claire's style. She favored the slow erosion approach. Endless snarky remarks, mocking pokes, and small acts of disruption masked as mishaps. One morning, I entered the kitchen and stopped cold. My cherished mug, a worn and chipped item I'd carried from my family home after my father died, was broken into pieces on the floor tiles. Claire was there with a pretend innocent look, clutching a dishcloth. "Oh, dear," she said, barely hiding her grin. "I had no idea it was your precious mug. I suppose I accidentally bumped it off the edge." Whoops. I remained silent. I gathered the fragments and exited the area. That night, I informed Gabriel. "She's beyond just impolite now. She's damaging things. I know it's only a mug, but it held value for me. And it won't end here. Anything I treasure, she's going to erode it bit by bit until nothing remains." Gabriel sighed. "Claire's challenging. She always has been. My parents stopped trying to fix her behavior ages ago. And truthfully, I believe she holds grudges against everybody. But particularly against me," I murmured. He agreed. In the following weeks, her appearances grew more regular. I'd be at work in the dining area and she'd snort loudly. It must be wonderful to lounge in sleepwear all day while others hold actual employment. If I rose to get more coffee, she'd grumble. "I suppose that's your exercise." Gabriel was never present when it occurred. How convenient. Then one night while I was sorting clothes on the sofa, Claire positioned herself in the entrance, arms folded. "You know I'm tying the knot." I blinked. "Oh, congratulations." She squinted. "Don't pretend to be shocked." "I'm not. That's wonderful news." She advanced nearer. "We're hosting the ceremony here. At Mom and Dad's." I paused. "All right, so you'll have to relocate beforehand." I gazed at her. "Pardon me. My fiancé isn't okay with you and Gabriel pretending to run the place here. We require the room. And honestly, you've been freeloading plenty long. We aim to begin our existence here. As a family unit. You don't even desire to reside with your parents," I noted. "No, but my fiancé does, at least temporarily. And your being here makes it messy." She appeared so arrogant, so assured that I wouldn't challenge her. It was the initial occasion I ever elevated my tone toward her. "I'm not a visitor. I've covered every expense in this residence for the last 2 years. I purchased the food. I prepared their taxes. I set up the bathroom supports your father relies on nightly. You drop by weekly and pretend you're in charge." Claire's expression grew stormy. "How dare you address me that way?" "No," I replied. "How dare you act like I'm some parasite? I'm your sibling's spouse." "That's precisely the issue," she snapped. "You believe marrying Gabriel granted you status in this family? Here's the truth, it didn't. I'm the oldest. I have priority." That evening, I sat with Gabriel. "I'm finished," I informed him. He massaged his forehead. "I don't want you to depart. But also, I can't continue protecting you from her." "I'm not requesting that," I stated. "I'll depart. But I'm not going without compensation." Before I departed, I devoted one final evening assembling all I'd overseen for the home. Passwords, service accounts, medicine records, meeting timetables, coverage policies, banking papers. I tagged every document, every chart. Then I arranged it all in a blue binder, printed a message, and positioned it on the kitchen surface. Atop the pile, I noted, in case nobody grasps what I've been handling. Then I departed. 3 days went by. I ignored my phone. I skipped the family messaging group. I didn't respond when Gabriel's mother visited. I leased a small studio downtown using my reserves. It was tight and chilly but serene. On the morning of Claire's wedding, I arose early. Naturally, I wasn't invited, but I knew a detail Claire didn't. And at 11:45 a.m., while she fixed her veil in the upper bedroom of her old home, her mother entered holding an envelope. "This arrived for you," she mentioned. "Seems significant. From the bank." Claire rolled her eyes, ripped it open casually, and her hand started trembling as she scanned the opening line. "Alert regarding interrupted automatic transfers and suspended account entry." She went still. "Mom," she murmured. "What's occurring?" Her mother, already overwhelmed from attempting to warm serving platters, hardly looked. But Claire's complexion had turned ashen, because that was the instant she grasped something horrifying. She had zero knowledge of how the home functioned, and the sole individual who did had just exited. Claire hadn't progressed past the initial section of the letter before she began yelling below. "Mom, did you halt the utility payments?" Her mom looked up blankly from the warming trays. "What? No, I haven't managed any of that in ages. Riley took care of all the payments." "Why? Is there an issue?" Claire faced her father. "This can't be real. Didn't either of you verify?" Her father exhaled without lifting his gaze from his puzzle. "We relied on Riley. She managed everything. Honestly, we wouldn't know how to begin." Claire gaped at them in astonished quiet. The residence she had declared as her upcoming marital abode was, as it emerged, a fragile construct, sustained by Riley's charts, credentials, and automated transactions. And now all of it had ceased. That evening, Claire appeared at my entrance. I didn't respond initially. I observed her through the peephole, arms crossed firmly, face fragile. She rapped repeatedly. "Riley, please." I cracked the door open. She appeared awful. Makeup smudged, hair disheveled. Not resembling a recent bride. More like someone freshly litigated. "I need to speak with you," she stated. I moved aside. She perched on the couch's edge, hands twisting in her lap like a kid discovered fibbing. "Why didn't you mention anything?" she whispered. "I did," I replied. "Plenty of times." Claire gulped. "I didn't realize you were managing so much. The loan, the expenses, even the coverage." I nodded once. "All of it." She inhaled unsteadily. "They're holding me responsible." Mom's weeping. "Dad hasn't addressed me since the letter arrived." "Gabriel, he's enraged." I stayed silent. Then, after a prolonged quiet, Claire dug into her bag and retrieved an envelope. "I know it's a big request, but perhaps you could just return." I arched an eyebrow. "Return?" I repeated. She nodded. "Just until we straighten things. Everyone's truly anxious, and frankly it would assist." I leaned in. "You evicted me from my own residence." Claire recoiled. "I didn't intend." "Yes, you did." I interrupted. "You claimed I made things complicated. You claimed I wasn't family." Claire reddened. "Okay, perhaps I was severe, but I didn't know." "You didn't care," I stated. "And now that the fallout strikes, you're here requesting I rescue again." She remained silent for a lengthy moment. Then she rose, adjusted her top, and breathed out through her nostrils. "Well, if you won't return," she said cautiously, "perhaps you'd think about keeping up the transfers." I stared at her. "What?" "The payments," she added swiftly. "Just until we sort it. You don't need to relocate back. Just maintain everything operating as before." I blinked. "You want me to cover your expenses for a home where I'm no longer accepted. You reside there without cost. I paid to stay there." Claire grimaced. "Fine, but this is short term. I'm seeking assistance." I smiled stiffly. "Are you—" "I'm attempting to repair things." She retorted. "God, you're so self-righteous at times." "No," I said, "I'm just exhausted." Claire's voice turned sour and cutting. "Is this revenge? You want me to plead? Is that it?" No, I said softly. I want you to understand that I'm not your aide, or your blame target, or your monetary backup. She chuckled, but without amusement. You believe this home functions because you tapped a few keys on a banking application? I stood. This discussion is finished. She advanced. Riley, hold on. I opened the door. Good luck. She stayed put. I mean it, I added. Depart. But instead of exiting, she surged ahead, seizing my wrist. Don't ignore me, she snarled. I'm not finished. Release me, I said, attempting to pull away. You're going to assist me, like it or not, she growled. You owe me. That's when the door behind me swung open and Gabriel's voice pierced the space, deep and threatening. Remove your hands from my wife. Claire went rigid. Gabriel, she stuttered, releasing immediately. I didn't know. He positioned himself between us, shoulders firm. What on earth are you doing here, Claire? I just needed to converse. You forced her out and now you're attempting to extort her. Claire's mouth gaped and shut like a fish. You don't get it, she said. Oh, I get it perfectly. Gabriel faced me. Are you all right? I nodded, though my hand still shook. Claire emitted a resentful laugh. So now you're the valiant spouse. Huh? Where were you when I sought help over the years? You didn't seek. You commanded. He countered. You schemed. You offended. She retreated, eyes squinting. You're taking her side, after all I've contributed to this family. Gabriel's gaze intensified. What exactly have you contributed, Claire? She faltered. Mom's wedding band. I assisted her locate it when she misplaced it last year. One band, he said evenly. And in return, you harassed my wife for 2 years. Made her feel worthless in the one spot she should have felt secure. I was upset. No, Gabriel said. You were envious. Claire's face grew stormy. She wed before me. That's why I despised her. She obtained everything ahead. The engagement, the residence, the esteem, the affection. For an instant, the room fell silent. Then Gabriel said, this isn't about age order. This is about personality. Claire's eyes glistened with held-back tears. I'm not the antagonist here. Gabriel nodded once, then ceased behaving like one. Claire raised her chin. You think you're so honorable, acting the savior. You'll come begging once Mom and Dad require aid again. Gabriel grasped my hand and pressed it. We're not begging anywhere, he said. We're finished allowing you to control our existence. Claire blinked. What? We're severing this. He proceeded steadily. No more commands. No more remorse. This concludes now. I glanced at Claire one final time. She no longer appeared enraged, just astonished. Gabriel moved to the door and swung it open. Depart, Claire, he said softly, and don't return in this manner again. She paused, scanning his expression for any weakness in his determination, but discovered none. Gradually, she exited into the corridor. Gabriel shut the door after her. The lock snapped, and for the first time in weeks, the quiet felt like tranquility. It had been 2 weeks since Gabriel shut the door on Claire. We didn't receive direct contact from her again, but news spread. Gabriel's parents phoned once. I allowed it to voicemail. His mother sounded weary. His father remained silent. They hadn't grasped, they stated, hadn't comprehended how much I'd shouldered. They longed for Gabriel. They wished us well. They omitted Claire. Gabriel and I agreed to a rental on a fresh apartment in Capitol Hill. 2 bedrooms, sunny kitchen, close to the farmer's market on foot. I acquired plants for the patio. Gabriel obtained a coffee maker he'd desired for a year. We didn't discuss the events much. We didn't have to. Amid the turmoil and the calm, serenity had turned into a fresh form of communication between us. I had space to reflect again, to inhale, to envision. That's when I learned I was expecting. I didn't inform Gabriel immediately, not from fear, but because I desired to savor the sensation alone briefly. A small hidden delight developing within me. When I eventually shared, he wept. We're going to handle this properly, he murmured. I promise you, Riley. No more disorder. No more individuals diminishing you. I trusted him. Claire, in the meantime, was falling apart. From what Gabriel's cousin shared, her spouse, the guy she'd wed amid blossoms and malice, lacked employment, reserves, and any desire for caregiving. He'd anticipated Claire's kin to sustain them. Claire had anticipated likewise. Now, without Riley, without Gabriel, and without funds, the home responsibilities fell entirely on her. Preparing meals, tidying, tending to two elderly parents with health requirements and a loan she couldn't cover. The same relative sent a capture of Claire's social media entry one afternoon. It stated, "Some folks act like kin, then disappear when matters toughen." No names, but no puzzle either. Gabriel chuckled upon viewing it. She's still attempting to alter the story. I shrugged. Allow her. We know the facts later that week. His mom phoned again. This time, I answered. Hi, Riley, she said, her tone faint. I just wanted to express regret for everything. I didn't respond immediately. You didn't merit how Claire behaved toward you, and we ought to have spoken up earlier. I hope you're fine. I'm fine, I said softly. We're fine. A break. Will you ever return? She inquired. I recalled the evening I'd departed that residence, the tone of Claire's words cutting into me, how my hands trembled while I gathered my things. No, I said, but I don't wish ill on you. I truly don't. She exhaled as if something within her collapsed. I get it. One stormy night, Gabriel and I visited a market on the border of our former area. We needed almond milk and maple syrup, and I yearned for both. As we entered the lot, we noticed a woman bent near the doorway attempting to place bulky sacks into the back of a worn vehicle. It was Claire. Her hair was damp. Her jacket was unraveling at the cuffs. Her spouse remained in the car, browsing his device, not stirring to assist. Gabriel tensed. I placed a hand on his arm. Don't, I said gently. He looked at me. Certain. I nodded. Let her experience it. We passed without words. Claire didn't even raise her gaze. A month afterward, Gabriel's parents disposed of the house. The upkeep expenses were excessive, and Claire had depleted their funds attempting to handle matters she didn't comprehend. They relocated to supported housing. Claire and her spouse shifted to a single-bedroom lease on the fringes of Tacoma. He accepted an evening role at a distribution center. She began employment at a customer service hub. The dream she'd envisioned had vanished, swapped with routine toil. Nobody else would support her. When our child arrived, we called her June. She came in the dawn hours, determined, wriggly, vocal. Gabriel cradled her with wonder in his gaze. She's going to be resilient, he whispered like her mother. I chuckled amid tears. The facility released us 2 days later. The apartment seemed even more luminous than prior. We arranged a cradle in the sleeping area. I stocked the cooler with ready dishes. Gabriel set up a sound device and viewed 5 clips on wrapping infants. We were adapting daily, gradually. And this time, nobody loomed critiquing us. Nobody weakened me in my own domain. One afternoon, as June rested, I discovered the blue binder I'd abandoned when I departed. Gabriel had discreetly brought it along. I opened it. Within were the identical charts, the identical codes, the identical plan I'd once adhered to prevent another's realm from collapsing. I gazed at it for an extended period. Then I grinned, shut it, and stowed it at the drawer's rear. Not from embarrassment, but from finality. We encountered Claire only once more, almost a year afterward. We were exiting a doctor's visit for kids, guiding June in her carriage along the path when Claire emerged from a close drugstore. She appeared slimmer, more aged. Her spouse wasn't present. She halted upon spotting us. For a moment, I believed she'd approach, utter something, request another opportunity. But she didn't. She barely acknowledged, then pivoted and proceeded oppositely. Gabriel didn't even look rearward. Do you pity her? He asked. I considered it. No, I said. I feel liberated. He took my hand, intertwining our fingers. We traversed the road, the sunlight piercing the clouds overhead. June moved in her carriage and flailed her tiny limbs. We had constructed something fresh, and this time it was ours.